This is the Bolder Than Most podcast, where we talk with those making bold moves in business, real estate, and life. I'm your host, Trey Jacobs. Thank you for being here. Let's jump right in. Welcome back to the Bolder Than Most podcast. I'm Trey Jacobs, and today we have McKenna Wallace. McKenna just made a big move back to Texas, what she calls Texas, what I'm calling West Arkansas, because it's out in the middle of nowhere. I'm surprised they actually have Wi-Fi out there. So, no, I'm just kidding.
Just kidding. It's way closer to civilization than Montana was. I'll tell you that right now.
You lived out in like a cabin in Montana, though. That was pretty dope.
Yeah. My parents are 90 miles away from the closest Walmart.
What?
Yeah.
Like, how do you survive? Like, do you have Uber Eats out there?
No, sir. We have bears and elk and moose and not Uber Eats.
That is
like, it's
unfortunate.
really
all
being able to just like go anywhere and do anything now.
Like, yeah, but how do you get your groceries? Do you have to drive 90 miles to Walmart?
It's cheaper, so we do have like a little like family-owned chain grocery store called Harvest Foods, but like it's $8 for a freaking thing of Reese's Puffs. So like inflation's crazy, but like the gouging of the family grocery store is even worse. So you like make your trip for like once or twice a month to Walmart, and you do like Walmart, Costco, like you do the rounds, and then you go and you don't go again for another 2 weeks to a month, however you decide, depending on the season. Because if it's super snowy, you ain't going nowhere. So,
oh my gosh,
it's a different life out there. There's a reason I left.
Yeah. Well, what is the reason? What made you want to come back to Texas?
So I'd come back to Texas a lot. So I grew up here. I left when I was 18, kind of hopped around a couple different states, and ended up in Montana, where my parents moved to about like 6 or 7 years ago. Yeah. And when I was there, I figured I would just settle there. And then I realized I was actually settling being there. When I found real estate, I was like, oh, well, this is great because I can do it from out of state. I don't have to be like in a big place. And so I was fine with it. But as I got more into it and just kind of found myself more, as cliche as it is, it happens, right? We all do actually find ourselves. As I found myself, I was like, dang, I'm not happy here. But I felt very stuck. And I was in one of the highest paying jobs in the county, which was still very low in actual income. And no matter how much I like came to my higher ups with like, this is what I've done to save money, this is what I've done to improve the process, like no matter what I said, they would just kind of like laugh when I asked for a raise. And so there was one point I kind of like broke down and cried to my boss, and I was like, I just feel stuck here. And I felt so ashamed that I broke down and cried to her about it, because like she didn't deserve to see that side of me. But I went to Texas 2 weeks later or something like that, something like 2-3 weeks. And the second I landed, I was like, I have to come back. I'd come back so many times before. I did not think it was going to happen. But within a couple days, I was like, this is it. And someone asked me before I admitted it to myself, like, why are you even in Montana? And I didn't have an answer. And I was embarrassed that I didn't have an answer. I was like, I don't know why I'm up there, because my parents live there. Like, I'm a 30-year-old woman. I can live without my parents, right? Like, love them. I'll go visit them. But like the fact that I was living a half life for the sake of my parents, it was embarrassing. And 6 months later, here I am.
Yeah. So if I were to ask you why are you in Texas, what would your answer be?
To build an empire.
That's not a bad answer. That's not a bad answer.
I'm here to live, like, honestly, because I feel like I survived for so long, and that's a whole nother podcast episode about getting into the nitty gritty of, the 10 years of my life that I stayed away from Texas. But I was surviving for so long, and now 2 weeks ago today, I moved back. I feel like a weight is lifted, like I am making progress. It's crazy how much my environment has changed to my outlook in life.
It's crazy too, because like, Dallas is cool, but Montana is just beautiful, and you had to get out of there,
Mhm.
which I think a lot of people, well, you found yourself in Montana when led you back to Dallas. So that's very
Mhm.
interesting.
And it's crazy because I had people legit tell me I was making a mistake. Like people in Dallas, they're like, "It's not the Dallas you left." Blah blah blah. I'm like, "Well, I'm not the person who left Dallas, so like me and Dallas have that in common, right?" But they told me they were like, you see the northern lights from where you're at. You're next to Glacier. You're this. You're like, it's so pretty. And my only response is like, the scenery is not enough for happiness. As much as it's great to be in the mountains, the novelty of having Walmart 90 miles away wears off really quickly. And
Yeah,
to be
I
like a
can
young
imagine.
single woman, it's not the vibe, right? Like it's not
Right.
as beautiful as it is. I'm really glad I have a free spot to go when I go back.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It's it
it's
sounds that's
weird.
like perfect too. That's a great place to visit,
Yeah.
you know? Like, and we're gonna have to talk about that free place to stay because I want to go to Montana too. Shoot. Hey guys, my company Paige Capital Group is actively sourcing and buying multifamily deals. If you're looking to put your money to work, gain some tax efficiencies, and grow your portfolio while we do all the heavy lifting, go to pagecapitalgroup.com/invest. That's Paige, PAIGE, capitalgroup.com/invest, and someone from our team will reach out. Now, back to the show.
Let's go. I'm fine with that. I mean, what sucks is like it's a 2-hour drive, 90 miles to the airport for either any airport around. So it's like it's hard to get there. But
I mean, it's not terrible. When I was in Maryland, we were like a 90-minute drive from the airport because we were at the very most southern point of Maryland. So,
yeah, I
um,
mean, like I feel like it's kind of normal because even me, I'm still like an hour away from the airport here, so it's not that
that's
big of a
true.
deal.
That's true. I
But
mean, with no traffic, because
Mhm.
we're saying that McKenna's in Dallas. She's like
I'm in
not in
Greenville,
Dallas, which
which
is,
I get shit for saying Greenville because it's Greenville.
yeah. Oh, I'm
Sorry.
sorry. Is it? Is it? Who's
I
beating you up? The 7 people that live there? Like,
yeah, right. I'm
like,
from Texas. I've never had the accent though. I say y'all, and that's about it. Sorry.
yo, do you drink Dr. Pepper and go to Whataburger?
Of course I do.
Yeah, then that's good enough in my eyes. Is it pecan or pecan?
I say pecan.
Really? I
Yeah.
say pecan, but I don't know if that's right or wrong because I'm not like a Texas native.
Dude, I literally like I could not care less. Whatever comes out of my mouth is how I'm saying it. If that is what determines me as a Texan or not, I don't care.
We were so I was telling you earlier, but we went to go look at some model homes in Northlake, Texas, which is so far away. But the community we were at, it was pecan something. And I was like, is it pecan or is it pecan? Like, I don't know like
Yeah, because
how
there's
to,
so many ways, right? Like there's
yeah.
pecan, like it's a nut. Who cares?
Yeah, right. That's funny. Um, let's talk about your empire that you're building,
Yeah.
right? You are building this empire, I'm assuming through Novations, or is that just like step one of empire?
Yeah, so it's definitely step one. So right now, kind of the 30,000-foot view of where I'm going with this. Um, I'm working on a team with two other people. The individual who started the team, he's scaling. He needs others to help him in aspects that, would fall behind otherwise. So I'm definitely, what I'm doing now is more of a job than it is like passive investing or anything like that. So right now, and I'm so stinking grateful. Like I cannot overstate how great it is to work with someone at the beginning because not only am I doing the job he's having me do, which is like closing, so I do the like intake and um get property condition, talk to the sellers, get the contract signed, and then goes from there. But he helps in like teaching me other things about it. Like he'll show me how to do a sub two. He'll take me onto calls that he's having with agents. Like anything that he can get me my hands in, he is. And it's a stinking godsend. Like I've learned
Yeah.
so much just because I'm not doing it alone. And
Yeah.
so that's just kind of like step one. Step two is starting
Well,
to get my own properties, but
before we go any further, can
yeah.
you break down what a novation is? Because honestly, I still don't fully understand it. And before meeting you, I had never even heard of a novation.
Yeah. Yeah. So a novation, simply put, is a contract that replaces another contract. Like I should look up like the actual definition, but that's how it makes sense in my head. And a lot of people think of novations as like a fix and flip novation. So a lot of people will go in and find like a distressed home and get it under contract. They will put in the money to flip it and to fix it up and then put it on the retail market. One of the greatest things about a novation as opposed to wholesaling is like with a wholesale, you can only get a cash buyer. But so I don't know if a lot of people know this, you actually can't have a retail or like a finance buyer. So someone with a mortgage can't, or like a loan can't come in and buy a house wholesale. But with a novation, it then opens it up because you're putting that contract on top of it. You're not assigning the contract.
That is interesting.
Yes. So it opens a whole new, so that was kind of a side tangent. But so a lot of people think of it as like the fix and flip where you go in, you fix it up, get it more to like that ARV, and then sell it on the retail market, or you can still technically, wholesale it or cash sale it.
So
But
does the buyer or does the seller have to wait until the house sells on
Mhm.
the final sell to get
Yes.
their payment?
Yeah, so and that's how it is for us too. So everyone waits until basically the end. It's essentially just contract that X is going to happen, and then at the closing everyone gets paid out their amount. The seller gets a net amount that it's agreed to at the time that that contract is signed. So what we're doing is strictly turnkey. So we're not looking for the fix and flip. We're essentially looking for people who um they're looking to get out. They're kind of not wanting to deal with the hustle of like trying to find a realtor or deal with the market itself. So we'll come in and provide a white glove experience for them. So we handle all the dirty work, including like cleanup and everything of, if they don't want to move their stuff out of their old rental, then they don't have to. But yeah.
Hmm, interesting. Why did you guys choose novations over wholesaling?
That one I don't actually know the answer to. Luciano, the guy who runs the team, he was doing it before I got here. And so I just went and did that. I mean, novations are great, and I think the biggest factor in the novation that makes it better is the fact that it opens up any avenue to dispo it, right? Like it doesn't have to be just cash, it doesn't have to be the lowball offer. Even because we sell it on the retail market, we can actually offer a higher net price to the seller than if we were to just wholesale. So it's just another tool in the tool
Interesting.
belt. Uh,
Yeah,
but it's a
that's
good one
cool.
that a lot of people don't know about and a lot of people aren't utilizing. So it's kind of a blue
No,
ocean.
no. Like I said, I never like whenever you told me about it a few weeks ago, I was like, what the hell? And then you recommended the Novation King to follow him. So I've been
Mhm.
following him for a little bit. Still don't fully understand it, but he's a character.
Yeah. I watch him so often because, I mean, I've only been doing it for like 6 weeks or so. So there's so much that I still don't understand, right? But I mean, he's the one to, well, not anymore. We're the ones to follow. But
Hey,
I
there
would
you
just say,
go.
like, community over competition. Still follow him, but like he's who I look to besides Luciano on a lot of this stuff. That
Is he in the sub two group as well? Or is he just out there doing his
Novation
thing?
King,
Yeah.
no,
No? Okay.
mm-mm. No, he's his
I've been
own guy.
I've been speaking to a lot of people in the sub two community a lot. Man, I gotta say that community, you guys are just built different. And there's so much emphasis on community within the sub two group. It's really cool to see, coming from some other groups that maybe didn't have as much of that. Um, I mean, what has been your biggest takeaway from the sub two community?
Honestly, And I agree, because I've talked to so many people and have had people join after talking to me because they see all these communities that claim to be like tight knit and they're not, but sub 2 really is it. It really is just the fact that you meet friends there. And like specifically Luciano was like my biggest one, because like he took me onto his team barely knowing me. So the way that I found this team is because it's encouraged within sub 2 to meet 25 to 50 people within your first, like, I don't know what it is. Someone's going to get me for being wrong, but like 30 days or something. But within like your first 90 days, you're supposed to make like 100 connections. And
Whoa.
honestly, there's so many people who I just hopped on a 15-minute Zoom, like spoke to them, and then became friends with them. And that's how I found this team, was because I did that. And I was like, I'm going all in. I'm quitting my W-2. I'm moving 1,400 miles away, and I'm going to make this work if I have to die trying. Like, it's what's
Yeah.
going to happen. And because of that, I found the team I'm on. And that's just everyone. Like, there's very few people who I've ran into in sub 2 that aren't willing to help in some way, shape, or form. But one of the best things is people are willing to help, but they're not willing to do the work for you. And that's a
Yeah.
huge shift that people don't understand. And it's a lot of the times it's subconscious within us. Like, it's the teach a man to fish, right? So many of us are stuck in like, oh, well, just give me a fish. Just tell me how to do it. Just tell me how to do a novation. Just tell me how to do wholesaling. When in reality, we need someone to hand us a pole and say, okay, go try and catch a fish, and I'll tell you why you were doing it wrong. And after you don't put bait
It's
on, then they're like, yeah, you should have put bait on it. But you learn so much more that way. So that's, sub 2 is great that way. It
they
teaches
are. They
you
are.
hard, good lessons.
My buddy Robert Johnson, he put up a post recently in the Facebook group because me and him have kind of been working on some things. I've been walking my neighborhood, right? And I said, you know what? I'm going on these walks, right? Because I work from home. I need sunlight, and I'm trying to be like physically fit. It's not going well, but
Now with that attitude, it's not.
no,
I
I'm
have it
still
in
walking.
mind.
I
It's doing great.
listen. I did 2.8 miles today, but you know, I
Awesome.
printed out door hangers, and I'm like, look, I buy houses cash because I live in the hood, and the neighborhood is changing. So I hang up these door hangers, and then somebody actually called me the other day. It's like, hey, I got this vacant lot that I want to sell, and I don't know what the hell to do. So my buddy put a post in the Facebook group, and he said it got all types of engagement. So we're like actually talking to some of the people to see if there's a good fit that, you know, they could, you know, potentially bring me on to help me with these leads. So, you know, shout out to, I think it was Mac, Don, and Eric. Probably
Yeah.
not listening, but they're like, they're dope, man. I'm just like so impressed by what they're doing and just their willingness to help. So shout out to Paige. What he's built is extremely impressive. Impressive.
Yeah.
Didn't he just buy like a house in Montana too?
Yeah, I get to go to it in August. So I'm excited. But
That was a sub 2 deal too, right?
yeah, he bought it for, I think, $1 down. Like, it's
What?
massive. And like, and I know exactly where the house is.
Yeah.
Like, it is such a pretty area. Like, it's right next to Glacier National Park. It's up in Kalispell. Well, I think it's technically in Whitefish, but Kalispell's suburb, if you can even call it. Kalispell's not a city. It's
Like,
such a different place out there. Like,
but how do
it's
you
like,
line up it's like an estate, right? It's not a house, it's a
oh
freaking
yeah,
estate.
it's a proper estate, my dude. Like, it is.
Like around the lake too?
I don't know, actually. I know I've seen
Is
a
it?
picture of it. He's so open on Zooms and stuff.
I
So
want to know, like, how do you lock something down like that? Like, what is this guy doing what is like the big separator? What does Pace have that so many people don't?
he does the shit. Like, honestly, and that's like, because I mean, there's so many people, and you've met people from sub 2, and you know, like, no one is special. And like, he's just been doing it so long and like opening up the doors. And he's set, like, people say it all the time, but it's 100%. He's such a go giver. Like, he believes in and giving, and in return the universe will give back, and that really is what it is. So because he's so open to it, he receives it, you know? So
Yeah.
I mean, and that's the freaking greatest thing about it is like no one's special. Like we all can have that. You know, like we all can have our freaking 1,000-acre ranch in Montana.
He's a 1,000-acre ranch. It's a
It's not
1,000
a 1,000.
acres.
No. No.
Jeez.
No. No,
He is
I'm
doing
being
very
a
well.
little facetious. It's not that big. I can't
Yeah.
remember. But I mean, like, it is a couple acres and it is a big ass house. But
I was looking for a house to buy subject to like move into.
mhm,
Like couldn't find anything and we decided to just build. But that was the goal, man. And then here's Pace out here buying estates, proper
mhm.
estates, and probably one of the most beautiful states in the freaking country. Like, it's,
Freaking property taxes are high AF too up there,
are
which
are
they
they
are in
really?
Texas. But yeah, I mean, it's all subjective, I feel. But I mean, my parents' house, so they have 1, 2, 3 bed, 2 bath log cabin on just shy of 11 acres. It has an ADU, which I'm about to freaking arbitrage the shit out of that ADU. But shy of 10, so it's like a horse property, and their property taxes have gone up like $2,000 or $3,000 in the past 8 years or something like that. Like it's nuts, but it's because everything is so expensive there now because everyone from California is moving there and jacking up house prices, and like they just
Those
had a
damn
house down the street sell for $1
Californians.
million, so
Jeez,
1.2 or something like that.
dang.
Yeah,
Whoa, 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 whoa. Are you guys gonna sell that house or are you just holding it
nope.
on for
I will hold
generations?
on to that sucker until I die
Yeah.
because I'm the one who inherits it. So I'm just gonna buy my sisters out of their third, and
Yeah.
y'all
Where your
can.
sisters at? Are they here?
No, I have a sister in Salt Lake and a sister who lives in the ADU currently,
Okay.
but I think she's moving out next month,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna turn that ADU into an Airbnb for them.
Yeah. Salt Lake. Did you spend some time in Utah?
Yeah, I spent 6 years in Utah.
Yeah. Is this when so I was, creeping through your Instagram page and there was a post and on that post you kind of spoke about some differences in your life between 2024 and 2020. And one of them was around your religion or
Mhm.
departure from religion. I I don't know if you want to chat about this, but I would love to know what that was like and what happened and
Yeah.
where you are now with that.
Shoot, yeah. No, like I said before we got on here, I'm an open book, so there's little to nothing that I won't actually talk about. So if I'm pretty sure everyone like will know what religion we're talking about since I live in Salt Lake, but I grew up Mormon. Like born and raised, I was very devout. I actually served an LDS mission in Salt Lake, which everyone laughs at because like that's the Mormon Mecca, right? Like
What are
everyone's
you
like,
missioning to, right? Like
yeah.
you guys are
So I went there, which when I went there, everyone was like, they only send the pretty girls to Salt Lake because you're the face of the church. I was like, shut up. Like everyone hates
oh
this calling. But yeah, it was something. So I always felt like even growing up, even as a teenager, I always felt a little off. Like I was always like I'm not reverent, not the like quiet little church girl. I was not like I don't know how to explain it. Like I was not going to be this like quiet little girl who like just got married, had babies, did what she was supposed to do. I was not that girl. So I just felt a little bit off, but like I wanted to make people proud, and that's like childhood trauma we won't get into. But when I was 14, I decided I wanted to go on a mission, which a Mormon mission is anywhere in the world you can go. It's supposedly like divine calling to a certain spot, like God speaks to the people who like go like send this person to here. And so when I was 14, I decided to go, but by the time I was 19, when I could go, I was starting to be like, nah, fam, I don't want to go. But because I told everybody all of this that I was going to go, I felt like if I didn't, I was going to let so many people down. And the Mormon Church is very judgy and very, like, they ridicule very easily. So if I didn't go, it would be because I wasn't worthy, because I did something wrong. So I went on my mission, hated it, because when you're on a mission, you're in companionships and you're with your companion 24/7. So I was with another woman 24/7. Only time you weren't is when you were in the bathroom, obviously, but like you were supposed to be like getting protected from the devil by being with somebody else all the time, and the devil goes after like missionaries because they're doing the Lord's work. Like, it was crazy, freaking crazy.
I didn't. Wow, I always see them in twos.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize that was like a requirement. Is it a requirement? Is that the right word?
Oh yeah, it's 100% a requirement. Like, if your companion is sick, you have to find someone like an adult female as a female, adult male as a male, to be your companion for the day, so you can still go out and work, because you can't go out alone, but you still have to like do the work. It's freaking nuts. And things are different now, which I'm kind of salty about, but it's okay. But yeah, so I went on my mission, and then it was the same kind of thing. Like, I wasn't like a quiet girl. I was very like I was still saying like that's what she said jokes and stuff. Like, I was not very like Christian, which you're supposed to be like not worldly, right? It was supposed to be like all about Jesus and very like, you can live with your family forever if you do XYZ, like all this stuff. So a lot of stuff happened on my mission with people, and I just kind of broke a little bit. And when I was about, I don't know if I mentioned this before, it's 18 months for girls and 2 years for guys. So I was at like month 10 and I met someone, and we're not allowed to date as missionaries.
Wait, hold on. Your missions are 18 months or 2 years?
Yeah.
Like, what? I thought they were just a couple months long.
No.
Wow.
18 months to 2 years. And back when I served a mission, you weren't allowed to talk to your family other than emailing back and forth on Mondays. Yeah. And then you could FaceTime your mom on Mother's Day, like your family, but like you can FaceTime your mom on Mother's Day. You're supposed to only do it for like 60 minutes. And then Christmas, you can FaceTime again for 60 minutes, but that's it. Other than that, you're like pounding the pavement. So this is why I'm good at like door knocking and stuff, because your girl like door knocked freaking in Utah.
When you guys are doing that, like I've only seen guys doing it, right? And they're usually on bikes, so they have their helmet, they have on a white button-up short sleeve with a dark colored tie and khakis. Do you guys have like a similar uniform?
Yeah, so we had, it's different now, and I know that. I don't know what it is because I don't keep up with it. I was gonna try and find you a picture of me on a bike with a freaking skirt, but I'm not gonna waste time with that. But yeah, so it's like skirts. Skirts had to be below the knee, and below the knee meaning like basically mid calf or longer. And like no open-toed shoes. Sleeves had to be like more than cap sleeve, so like regular sleeve or longer. Our mission, we couldn't have fingernail polish, and if we did, it had to be like a nude. Like, we couldn't have anything fun. There was a lot of restrictions because the message was about Jesus. It wasn't about us. So we were supposed to be like homely. But yeah, it was nuts.
18 months. 18 months, huh?
18
And
months,
you know, some of my really good friends are Mormon. I've actually run a very successful business with, actually, what is, you're supposed to, you're not supposed to say Mormon, you're supposed to say Church of Latter-day Saints.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Uh-oh. What was that? What was that?
So the new prophet says that you can't say Mormon, but every other prophet has said it's fine. So it's like I think a little like mini feud that the
Huh.
current prophet has, where like everyone else or like one specific one he didn't like said like Mormon's fine. Now he's saying Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. It literally doesn't freaking matter. I mean, like to them it matters because they follow whoever says at the time. But yeah.
No
So
disrespect to anybody. Like I
yeah.
said, I got some really good friends who are still in the church, but everybody's, journey is different. So, if it's not in your heart anymore, it's not in your heart.
Yeah.
How was the like first like few months after leaving compared to now? Real quick, guys, if you're enjoying the show and want to help us grow, share, shoot us a 5-star rating, and follow the show on Apple or Spotify. My goal is to continue to grow and get bigger and bigger guests on the show to reach more like-minded real estate investors and help everyone be more bold and build more wealth. Now, back to the show.
So that one's a hard one to answer because it took so long to actually leave. Like from 2017 to 2020, I like had an identity crisis on it. But 2020 was really like the breaking point. And I think it's why Montana healed me as much as it did, because I was able to leave in 2020 and then move to Montana in 2021 and be 100% open with my parents about it and have them be okay with it. Because I think if I had come back to Texas and not had them know the extent of where I was spiritually, it would eat at me.
Yeah.
But that one's a hard one to answer because it was such a long time. But when I officially, it was like, yeah, I ain't about it anymore. It definitely
Yeah.
felt like free. I wasn't paranoid anymore because I was constantly paranoid and constantly unhappy, constantly felt like I wasn't doing enough or being enough and that I wasn't good enough. And that all released. So that was a lot of pent up, I don't even know, anger that was able
Yeah.
to be released. So it was good at the end of the day.
What is the protocol like with like family when somebody leaves the church?
Depends on who you ask. Me as like, and an ex-Mormon is such like a, I don't know, it's kind of like not a really a slanderous term, but it is kind of, because when it has a negative connotation to it.
Inside the church, right?
Yeah, inside the church. Because like if you're an ex-Mo or an ex-Mormon, you're like the devil. Like
Ooh.
I'm not like one to go 100% like, will I talk shit about the church? Yeah. But I won't like go and bash. Like if y'all want to believe it, fine. Like you said, like no disrespect. I'm not one to, people have religions that I don't agree with and I'm not the one to judge. But man, I totally lost what the question was now.
I'm just thinking of the
Oh.
mafia, right? Like, like, like if you're in the mafia or you're in the mob, right? And then like you introduce somebody that's not in the mob, you're like, this is my friend Tony. But if you introduce somebody that is in the mob, this is our friend Tony, right? Is it like that now?
Oh yeah, you said
Like,
protocol for family. Usually
yeah,
families, and why I say it's different depending on who you ask. Me as an ex-Mormon, I know that like it's basically I have fallen away from grace. I am just lost. And it is such a shame. And it's this pity that everyone feels, even though I've never been happier. But the
that's
happiness comes to
unfortunate.
the devil naturally. Um, but usually families aren't as cool with the lifestyle change. But I lucked out and I have very loving, understanding parents. I mean, like my extended family, I know some are cool, some have left the church anyways, but like I know some of my extended families. Oh my gosh, I can't believe she got tattoos and blah blah blah. Like,
Oh, you do have tattoos. That was a big thing.
yeah.
And you drink caffeine? Do you drink coffee?
Oh, 100%.
Oh my
But
gosh.
there's nothing I don't, well, no, there's not nothing I don't do. I don't do drugs. But
Well, oh, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, that's crazy. Well, thank you for sharing that, man. I'm
Yeah.
glad that you're in a much better place than you were. I
It's a
mean, I
lot
think,
better.
yeah, like religion is great for a lot of people, and a lot of people need it. But when that religion gets in the way of somebody's happiness, or becomes their entire identity, I think that's where it's a little bit problematic. So,
Yeah.
um, I don't know. What do you say? Like, congrats for leaving the church? I don't fucking know. Like,
I don't know, like, my life isn't revolving around a religion, or a church anymore, so it's like, it's just freedom. Like, I don't know if it's
yeah.
it's
Well, what's
rebirth.
next, right?
I don't know.
You're in Texas, you're in Greenville, you're about 2 hours
My
outside
memory
of
froze.
Dallas proper. You're doing Novations. Like, what does the next 12 months look like for you?
Yeah, so I wanna do what you were talking about earlier. Within the next 6 months, I want to sub to like a homestead for me and
Yeah.
house hack it. So whether I get a duplex and house hack it or I do just a house and rent out rooms, whatever. I want to get somewhere where I'm still not paying full, if any, housing and do that and then get a couple of rentals under my belt and then just kind of hit the ground running from there. I think once I get one or two under my belt, like that's when the fire will ignite, which part of me is like, just get it done then. But because I quit my job, because I'm kind of living on my savings right now and I'm waiting for the Novation to cash in, the Novation deal to cash in, like I'm okay with holding back because even if I'm using other people's money, I'm not one to be frivolous with it. I still want to
Yeah.
protect it like it's my own. And I want to have a good safety net for should a deal go bad that I can be like, hey, you know what? Here's money from my own personal because
Yeah.
I fucked up. So I don't feel comfortable just like going balls to the wall right now when it comes to investing for myself, just because of where I'm at. But in the next 12 months, definitely will have a couple of income producing properties and get my feet wet there.
What are some things that could prevent you from reaching that goal?
I mean, in theory, there's a lot, but me personally, I don't see anything preventing me other than like holding myself back. Um, one of the greatest things about leaving a W-2, because everyone says not to do it until XYZ happens, and I'm just like, yeah, it's full send. Like I'm out. Um, I don't know. I just think like I'm the only one holding me back. I'm the only one, and how hard I work and what I do in my work with Luciano on his team fully determines how much money I make, which fully determines if I get to do the house hack, if I get to get those properties. So the only thing holding me back is me,
Yeah. You've
like
been
how
going
hard I work.
live. Yeah, I mean, I see you putting the work because you're going live and you're making phone calls on Instagram.
Yeah.
Is that like you're doing that for accountability or
Yeah. So I'm going to say this and it's going to eternalize it and I'm going to have to do it. So I'm doing it in prep because it is accountability for me. But when I get back from Squad Up Summit this week, I'm putting everything together. And I actually started a Twitch. And
oh no way.
I feel like such a weird gamer person. I don't know how to use Twitch. I have like Twitch and Discord now and I feel weird. Like I'm one of those people. But I started a Twitch and I'm gonna start streaming leads. And like people can hop in whenever and I'm just gonna have like my streaming going for the hours and whatever I'm doing there. That's it.
Dang,
And
it's a
like I'm
good
gonna get to the
idea.
point where like I'm gonna have people bring me their dead leads and I'm gonna close them. And so yeah, now that's now it's gonna happen because I'm saying it like two people. But
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
So
so that's kind of
listen,
like my prep for that.
if if anybody's listening, you heard it, right? So what's your Instagram handle? What's your Twitch channel gonna be? I don't even know how Twitch works.
I
Like,
don't either. I just made it. So Instagram handle is real McKenna Wallace. I get made fun of for that, but like my other one was McKenna. Yeah. So yeah.
the,
I am the
the
real McKenna
original,
Wallace. I'm not the fake
right?
McKenna Wallace.
The
But
original.
and then the Twitch, I don't know how it works either, but my like show name is gonna be Calls to the Wall because my last name's Wallace. Instead of Balls to the Wall, it's Calls to the Wall. So I know I didn't come up with it, unfortunately. Luciano did, but I'm running with it. So that's what it is, and I think that's the URL too. Is you can like / Calls to the Wall. I don't know though. But I'll put
Okay.
when it gets started, which it probably will be by the time you post this. It'll be in the link in my bio.
Hey, look at you! Just because
Yeah.
you're the real McKenna Wallace.
I'm the real
All
McKenna
right.
Wallace. Ain't no fake in here. But
That's
yeah,
right.
so
That's awesome, man.
so it keeps me accountable, and I mean, like if people are watching me sit and do stuff, then
Yeah.
you know, I can't just be on my phone if my phone's up there filming me.
Novation King is like, he does it all the time too, and he's getting some really good engagement. So you could be the Novation Queen.
I think there is a Novation Queen already.
Oh, well,
Be the Novation God.
you can be the real Novation Queen.
You know,
Oh boy.
Who knows how long I'll be doing this? I'm giving myself a couple years, honestly.
Oh yeah.
I like
You,
the partnership I have, and
you got time, man. You got plenty of
yeah,
time. Like, didn't Pace just start like 5 or 6 years ago with Sub 2?
yeah. I think it was
And
like
look at him
4.
now.
I
Dude,
know.
that's
It's
what he
like
has built. To be fair, that guy has like the really like his personality type is so attractive. Do I have a crush on Pace? What the
you have a
hell?
little man crush on Pace. We all have a man crush on Pace. It's okay. Have you done the Clifton Strengths test?
I did. Yes,
You did?
I lead with orange
I'm not surprised.
competition. Why? Why do you say that?
Your competition too? My number 1 is communication. My number 2 is woo. And my number 3 is competition. So communication, woo, competition.
I have to pull it up, but I think woo was my dead last, which seems weird. I don't know, because, you know, I don't.
You froze, what'd you say?
I might have some game. Oh, I was saying woo was like my last one, I think. Right? But I think woo was like having game. Like,
woo is very like charisma. Like it's Riz. Like I thrive.
Riz.
I thrive on winning
Gen Z over here. Come on.
I'm a millennial for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thrive on winning people over. I do. I really do. Like events, I'm very like my net is cast wide. I'm not very like deep with everybody, but I'm wide with everybody, and then I'm deep with a certain few.
Dude, that's me too. That's how I move. I tell my friends that all the time because they like to go real deep and get like real personal, and I don't like to do that because it's uncomfortable. Well, actually, I just did it today, like asking you about your religion, but like normally I don't. You know, let's just stay surface level. But
yeah,
no. I'm excited to see them in person. You know, see how you move.
Yeah.
So what's funny is I thought the real McKenna Wallace was like 6'2". Turns out she's like 4'11". So
5'3" and a quarter.
Oh, and a quarter. Dude,
it might have been my shoes.
I was like, man, I just knew for sure. Like we've never met in person. I've just seen your Instagram, and I just knew for sure that she was like at least 5'11", at least. Yeah, just got that. What I say, that 5'9" energy.
Yeah, not at all. Not
completely
at
wrong.
all.
Well, McKenna, let's wrap this up, man. Where can people find you, and who should reach out?
Well, you can find me on Instagram at real McKenna Wallace, and everyone should reach out. One, because I'm high woo and I love people, and I will literally talk to anybody. And more specifically, business-wise, if you are a wholesaler who has either locked in too high and the deal is not going to work and you think it's dead, we can help you. And or you have a seller who's not interested in a low cash ball offer, we have a really good system going where we can, decide if the lead's going to be good or not, and you get a really good percentage on the JV. So for that one, you go to lucianojv.com.
We're gonna have to talk about that because I want to maybe, I don't know, figure out something. Hey, do me a favor.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I don't even remember what I was gonna say.
All good. So the last 3 people that I've had on the podcast, I've actually made them do the outro. And since I'm really bad at outros, I'm going to put you on the spot too. Okay. So if you don't mind, podcast, Bolder Than Most podcast, don't forget to say your boy's name, Trey Jacobs, because we out here. Yeah, gang. Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Awesome. Ready?
Ready.
Thank you for watching the Bolder Than Most podcast with Trey Jacobs and McKenna Wallace. I don't know what else to say. Shit. Trey.
Sorry. It's all right. That was a good start.
Okay, all right, that's all, guys. We got it. Okay.
Finish up. Got it. Game time. Go.
No. How do you usually do it? What do you usually say?
I just say thanks for listening and being here, guys, friends.
All right. Thanks, friends, for listening to the Bolder Than Most podcast with Trey Jacobs and McKenna Wallace. We'll see you next time.